Okay. I took some time to think about how I wanted to start it. Nothing came to brain. Nothing came to brain.
And that's why she's a working woman. She's a working woman. She just got off her 12-hour shift.
Insane. Welcome back to Chaos, the K-pop. Oh.
You can't let the muscle memory take over. We just changed it. It was 2 months ago.
It was 2 months ago.
And we've been talking about it
and also,
a long time before that.
Muscle memory when we put out 6 episodes last year, maybe?
Well, exactly. It's one really specific muscle. It's not very big, but it's very well strong.
Uh-huh. This is Chaos, the general music podcast, where we talk about all kinds of... No?
General music podcast is so not catchy. That's the problem, is K-pop podcast has a great mouthfeel to it.
The all pop podcast? You got a lot of P's.
Sure.
The all pop podcast, or sometimes we do other genres as well. I'm Danny. That's Lotus. Let's start with the music.
Yeah, we got a lot this time because one thing that I didn't really anticipate when we fully expanded it is that, yeah, everybody does put out music in March, and specifically the last Friday of March. I kind of forgot.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
The last time doing 2 months ago was pretty easy. March kind of exploded. So let's start. My month started very well, very good. I discovered an artist, No, it's going to be a long one.
Mumford & Sons.
I don't say any words for my job, and yet it takes all of my words from me. I discovered Mumford & Sons this year.
Have you guys heard of this hit band, Mumford & Sons?
Have you heard of Boom Clap Music?
What is it? Stomp Clap Hey?
Yeah, there it is.
Boom Clap is Charlie XCX and Icon of Pop.
That's right. I discovered Waterbaby, all one word, all lower caps. I believe a Swedish, no. Oh. No. Not Swedish. It's a different S. Stockholm.
Swiss?
A Stockholm-based.
Okay.
Artist who I think...
Danny, where's Stockholm?
But can I be specific? Can I be specific, Lotus?
It's that you said Swedish? No.
Listen.
Not Swedish, Stockholmish.
She is from the capital, yes. But she doesn't say she's from Sweden. She says she's from Stockholm. I'm going to respect that.
All right.
Waterbaby put out her debut album, I believe, titled Memory Be a Blade. This is another thing where I was just scrolling through whatever that website is that I forget every episode, where you have all the music. And I just look for music. Yes, rate your music. And I look for album covers or artist names that could be interesting. Waterbaby popped up because I believe this album came out the first week of March. I don't know how to classify it, so I won't try. But overall, it's a really interesting album to me.
Depressing singer-songwriter music,
yeah.
Broadly.
Like there's maybe a bit of wistful hope perhaps in it, but overall just kind of an album that reminisces on the past while also being a little depressing. I think the biggest thing for me is that this album reminds me of when artists used to do those unplugged performances. I think it was specifically MTV Unplugged in the early 2000s, where they could get, quote unquote experimental with their music and give you a performance that was maybe a little more, maybe an acoustic performance, or they take away some of the instruments and give you a sort of bare bones.
A little more stripped down.
Yeah. Performance, and it just reminds me of that. I loved those performances and versions of songs when I was young, and this just gives me that feeling. But it is the original album, which I think is fun. I read somewhere that some of the songs, or at least one of the songs, was just her in the booth improvising lyrics and sounds and such, just see what sticks and just let it go as the final cut. I just think that's nice. Sometimes I'm a romantic and I just think that's nice. Why write out your lyrics when you could just go in the booth, feel the music, and make a song, you know? I started this month, I think, in a very romantic kind of mood, just generally speaking. And so a lot of my feelings towards the songs that I found at the beginning of the month are going to be very positive. But this is, I think, a very good album. I think waterbaby is a beautiful singer. This album, I was a little bit like, I think I could like it, but I'm not sure. And then like halfway through, there's a song where she starts to harmonize with the violins in it. Mm-hmm. Sold. I said, let me start this over and really listen to it again. Love it. It's a beautiful album.
We got an R&B level vocal tracks. There's like 10 different vocal tracks of just her singing on each song. And it's really, I mean, except the couple of like more stripped out ones, but it's really nice, yeah. It's a really strong debut.
It's a good debut. The only parts I don't love, she has her brother featured on this, and he's a very like gentle spoken word kind of rapper. This will probably come up again later in the podcast. I generally speaking, don't like spoken word rapping or verses even in music. I don't want to hear talking in a song 9 times out of 10. And so it's a little bit like jarring, but I think the music itself holds up enough that I don't mind. Very solid debut.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add really. I do love how much you dislike talk singing or spoken word rap though.
It's something I don't like it. You've got to be doing.
It doesn't matter what it is about it. You just don't like it.
I just don't like it. Yeah. Moving on. Continuing this thread of I was feeling very romantic at the start of the month. Mm-hmm. Blessing Jolie, another artist, another debut, put out her album 20 Nothing. As the title suggests, it's just an album about being in your early 20s, which, as always, kind of sucks, kind of has a lot of revelations, and you often feel kind of smarter than you are about the situations you're going through. I don't mean that as a read. I just feel like that's...
Right, not on her. That's just the case of being in your early 20s.
Yes, it's when you hit 25 and you start waxing poetic about your early 20s and, you know, your missteps when really you're still kind of making those missteps. Mm-hmm. I think this album is very much that without being fully aware that she's probably still a little bit in that early 20s bird stage that we all go through.
There's a song called Software Developer that is that's the bird song on the album.
I thought that song was just a weird, long analogy. No, she was in school to be a software developer and dropped out to make music.
Yep. It's a very literal singer-songwriter song. It's also one of the ones that's a little bit more low-key. Some of the other songs on the album are like very noisy. Mm-hmm. I think the combination of her vocal performance and like the noise level of some of them reminds me positively of that Rachel Chinariri album from a couple of years ago now. What a Devastating Turn of Events.
Yeah, maybe a couple years ago.
Maybe 3.
I don't know if it's... Well, I also feel like we've only done this podcast for 2 years, and that's incorrect. So it could be 3.
Okay, no, 2024.
Okay. Yeah, it reminded me of that as well. The way she sings reminds me a lot of Tracy Chapman.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm. And I really like her voice, and I like the... Well, let me start here. I listened to some of her older music after hearing this album because I was like, I like it. There's some clunky bits lyrically, but whatever. What song isn't? So I went to her older music. It's not as great. It's not as good. I think this album has a slight alt-rock indie sound to it that really suits the way she sings, which is kind of deep and very in the throat. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, like, alt-rock sound, I think her music gets a little bit weird.
Interesting. Is it just more poppy, or?
maybe a little more like R&B like.
Okay.
A little R&B pop, kind of what a lot of people are doing now, and I just don't think it suits her as well. I think this is really good for her voice. And overall, I think it's a good album. The ending of it, I think, loses it a little bit for me. What are the songs? Sticks and Stones.
Oh yeah, I like the last song though.
I don't mind the last song, but after listening to the album, I find it boring. Whereas if I think on its own it's a fine song, but after such a sort of loud in your face album, closing it with a
Okay.
slower song, it just feels a little bit meh. I'll skip it.
I like a sad ballad at the end, especially because I think the rock vocals stay in a way that is very like Tracy Chapman. I think is fair to say, where there's a lot of intentional voice breaking, and I'm like, yeah,
That's true. Again, it's not bad, but I just
thematically correct, but maybe not what you wanted.
exactly. So let's move on. Another strong album. Giant Claw and Galen Tipton, two artists under the same sort of collective, I believe.
I think so. They are regularly doing something together.
And what they did this month, Mobile Suit Gym Rat.
Stupid. It's such a stupid name. There's deliberately a lot of stupid things on this. One of the title tracks is called Gungan Motion. I don't think Gungan is a real word, but they are the aliens from Star Wars that Jar Jar Binks is. And normally I would think that I was being delusional, but there's also a song called Seething Chud and Slop Merchant and Angel Crap. And I said, no, that probably is talking about Jar Jar. However, in an interesting turn of events, that song fucking knocks. This is like a really wild, like New Jack Swing / EDM album. Like obviously hip hop as well, because New Jack Swing has a lot of hip hop in it. But yeah, just kind of an extremely energetic street partying kind of song. There's a lot of samples of what I can only assume are sneakers squeaking on a basketball court, or I think people what's the word? Like double dutching, jump roping. People jumping in, people cheering in a way that only black people do cheerleading. So I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of fuzz samples on the album that I think really contribute to the overall energy, which is high.
High energy. I have never heard of either of these people. I went into this being like, oh, it's Lotus music, you know? Just capital L, capital M, Lotus music. This is a shockingly black sounding album. It is
If you hey,
shockingly black.
I don't care what race you are. If you make New Jack Swing and I don't leave the album thinking, is this person black? You did something fucking wrong.
Like this, the whole album just sounds like it could be a soundtrack to the Fly Girls from In Living Color, which In Living Color, for anybody who may not know, because it's a slightly old reference, is a 90s sketch comedy show where a lot of famous comedians got their start, and the Fly Girls were the dance troupe that were on there. J-Lo got her start as a Fly Girl. As you can imagine, it's comedy of the 90s. It was black as fuck. That's just how it works.
It's called In Living Color.
It's called In Living Color.
Like, even if you didn't know all the details, you might have got the picture a
You
little
could
bit.
maybe figure it out. I think it's where like the Wayans family got their start. You know, blah 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 blah. Sounds like a soundtrack to that. As soon as I heard that first song, Matters of the Family, I was sold. It's not the most. It fits in the album, but like a lot of this kind of feels like music that you're dancing hard to. Matters of the Family, it's such a 90s procedural opening song.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, Lotus. I love a procedural, especially a 90s procedural.
I was gonna say, what do you like more than a 90s procedural?
Not much. So this, fun time.
It's a really fun album. I wish I could do little backflips and such. Maybe someday.
Maybe. I feel like that's a learned skill, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's possible.
It's possible for anybody. It's a lot of confidence.
It's mostly confidence.
It's pretty much, if you have a basic level of athletic ability, you are capable of flinging yourself into a backflip. Maybe not with the strongest landing, but you can do the full 360. But if you don't have enough confidence, you will crack your skull open on the floor.
Put on those J's.
So, you know.
Get a basketball short, and you'll be backflipping.
Basketball short, above the belly button,
pulled
band
all
over,
the way up,
tied super tight. I look like Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. This was a really good surprise in the middle of my workday where I said, let me get some of this music out the way. Great album. I think I listened to it twice in a row because it's also pretty short as far as albums go.
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes or something. Most of the songs are pretty short. In fact, the Gungan Motion is one of the longer tracks, and it's 3:18. Yeah, the other single is the one I really, really like, Dark Empath, which has... It's not chopped and screwed because it's not slow enough. I guess it's just chopped or just screwed, but not both of them.
Right.
But it has some vocal samples at the beginning that kind of like stretch and space out and lead into a slightly more, I guess you'd say, psychedelic track than most of the rest of the album, which tends to be a little bit more upbeat and percussive. And even though it's just the second song, it's a nice lead-in because, like you said, that first track is also a little bit less. It's a little bit more low-key compared to Gunga Motion.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, that's got to be Big Frida, right? The sample in the beginning.
It really
Dark Empath is like it really sounds like Big Frida. And the thing is, Big Frida has a very distinct voice, but she's also kind of easy to imitate, which is why I'm like, and also obviously she basically invented New Orleans bounce music. So I'm like,
yes.
Is it her or is it just somebody like her?
You gotta go deep into those credits.
I'm gonna have to go deep. Hopefully someone has it somewhere, but listen to Mobile Suit Gym Rat. It's fun music.
It's fun music. Do you like to have fun?
If I see you call it video game music, someone will show up to your house. I don't know if it'll be me.
But it'll definitely be me.
I'm just waiting on the curb in the car.
I was just like, it just depends on how it feels like getting out the car or not.
Hi, excuse me. I get that you like Jet Set Radio and you wanted to compare this album to it, but I just don't think that you should do that.
Excuse me, did I hear you say? Did you call this video game music? Yeah. Okay. Get the gun. Let's talk a little bit about James Blake. A beautiful British crooner, James Blake.
Yeah. That is his style of singing. I think he could add more body to his voice if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to. And I don't think that that's the wrong decision.
No, he's been singing in that falsetto for like a decade plus, and it's worked. He put out, I want to say, a much anticipated album, but maybe I just really anticipated it.
No, I think he's got a lot of fans.
I feel like he's got a lot of fans, but he put out Trying Times.
I wasn't big on his technically most recent album. The album cover is like a bunch of breakfast or something. I don't know. Because I liked the previous one, Playing Robots into Heaven. And then the other one came out and I was like,
oh. Yeah. I am a big fan of his earlier work, like before the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
Old James Blake, and then I kind of fell off for a little bit, came back for Trying Times. I really love this album. Well, hold on. I really love a solid half of this album. It's not bad. I think James Blake is an incredible producer. He's a beautiful singer. But for an album that's maybe a little over 45 minutes, it drags towards the middle bits of it drag for me, and I always listen to it in two parts. I think the songs also feel like two separate albums come together, and so it's easy to break it up into half.
I think I'd agree with that, because one thing that's interesting is usually he'll have at least a few songs that he doesn't sing on at all, and sometimes they're more on the ambient side, sometimes they're more active, I guess you'd say. This one, not so much. It does feel... as much as I'd agree with the first and second half sounding different, I also would say that a lot of the songs have the same kind of formula to them. And so
Yeah.
without anything to break it up, you're kind of like, oh, geez. There's 13 songs, it's 45 minutes, but it feels a little too long.
Yeah. It feels oddly long. It just by the end of it, it's a tiring album, despite the fact that I think it is very beautiful. It's a very like technically sound album. And like how I felt about the Labyrinth album last month, where,
Oh, yeah.
despite any problems I may have with it, I just find it such an interesting album to sit down and experience and listen to. That's how I feel about this one.
Yeah,
And
I think
that's,
I'd agree with that. I'm still here for playing Raw What's in Heaven above this one. But that's a
yeah,
pretty high bar to clear for me.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree. It's not, it's not his best like for as just a personal pick, but I think it's his best as like
Maybe it's
I want
best
to.
produced.
Yeah, I was gonna say in my professional opinion, but it's not my. I have no profession.
Oh, right. We're not musical professionals. We just have recording equipment.
We just have mics.
We just have mics.
Um. Moving on. I think I may keep this short. I don't know, but the Scratch put out an album. The Scratch is an Irish band. That's just like just some guys who seem like they're old guys making really good traditional Irish folk music combined with good classic heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's a very simple formula that they have really, they've perfected in a way that I think a lot of bands try to do, especially older bands, and don't quite get there. I think the first single to come out of this was Pull Like a Dog, which makes me feel like a dog. And just a little, and I like that a lot. I think that's very
Yeah.
important in music. But when the album came
Especially for
out,
metal.
es-
That song's really good.
especially for metal, when this album came out, it took me a couple listens to get into the album as a whole. Because they do a lot of blending with the kind of music that's on there that I wasn't sure if I liked. But frankly, the lead singer for The Scratch, I think I'm at a point where whatever he does on any song can really push it over the edge for me. I think
Okay.
he is an amazing vocalist. I think he can sing like a very soft song very beautifully. But I think when it's time to yell and get a little rowdy, he gets really high and a little raspy. That's great.
I'm sure some of this is the fact that, like, this is a professionally released song, so presumably it was recorded and edited in the studio. But his breath control is crazy.
Crazy.
I don't know how many breaths this guy is taking because I can't, like, find them. You can't really
No.
hear them.
No. And frankly, even when once you chop up a song, a breath is usually still, you can still tell when it's being taken because people
Yeah.
breathe. No, he just goes.
Famously, most people need to breathe, but I guess he doesn't.
He doesn't. He just sings. There's some really good, like, 90s grunge sounds and classic, just repetitive heavy metal riffs in this. Like, the songs themselves are very formulaic. But again, you add a little bit of, like, Irish instrument into there. You get him singing on there. And it just elevates it. I wish I knew more of what he was saying, to be honest. Because it just seems like it'd be interesting. Sometimes there's
You could always dissect it.
I just feel like it'd be interesting. Sometimes there's references that I go, I don't know what the fuck that could possibly mean, but I'm interested.
That's true. I mean, it's a really Irish album, which is nice because sometimes, whether it's metal, whether it's rock, whether it's anything, you'll you'll hear, oh, this album, it has cultural elements from blah 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 blah, where they're from, and then you listen, you're like, yeah, okay, buddy,
Yeah, okay.
whatever. But I do think that there's a lot of Irish and folk elements that are very like easy to find, even for an inexperienced ear. I mean, it is a very unique sound. There's like a particular rhythm and musicality to Irish folk music that carries over into what they do. It kind of reminds me of I don't know if you get these YouTube videos recommended to you, but it'll be like top 10 most metal moments in classical music.
Yeah.
Or like the first metal riffs ever invented, and then it's a picture of like Vivaldi.
Yes.
This is very that, but for Irish music, where it's like,
Yeah.
nah, they've been making metal music for a few centuries, and now the guitars are just electric. Yeah, I really enjoyed this too. Metal and I, little up and down. I'm a soft creature. I really like this album because I like Pull Like a Dog. I was like, this is really fun. So I'm very pleased I like the full album as well.
Yeah, very good. Moving on to the Sophs. Lotus, have you listened to this album or the singles?
Yes, I have, to both.
Okay. I really like this album. I think it may be my top album of the March-April monthly thingy. How do you feel about it? I'm just curious.
I like it okay. I don't think it sounds bad. For me, though, because this is a kind of, I guess you'd call alt-rock album. Maybe just rock. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say just rock. They're doing a lot on here. We can get into it in a second.
My only kind of dig, and the thing that I think prevented me from liking it overall, because I just say it's fine, it just sounds like they're trying too hard for me.
Okay.
It sounds a little put on to me.
Okay, and we will start exactly there.
Okay.
My initial notes on this album were pretty negative. And then I kind of scratched them and changed my opinion. But this is also a debut album from a new band who has a very like industry plant kind of start to them, where, they had never performed a song. They just sent a demo, and within a week they were signed and recording an album. Very, I don't think they're an industry plant, but I don't care about that conversation. But I think on a first listen to this album, it feels as though the Sophs as a band has no personal sound. Every song feels like it has 10 different references to other famous bands and songs. And while they sound good, and everyone in the band is very good at their instrument, what are you really getting when every song sounds like someone else's song? However, because I had that opinion, I said, let me listen to it again. And I liked it more, and I just, as I listened to it, I like it a lot. And I think this is another case of band proficiency and vocal talent kind of pushed this album a little bit further for me. I think the singer is very good. A lot of this album is him yelling, or at least like by the end of the songs will almost always ramp up into a yelling kind of bit. I think he's very good at sounding just emotional. The lyrics for this album are also really interesting to me. They also kind of feel a little put on and try hard, but they're weird and I like it.
If it works, it works. It just didn't work for me.
I didn't think it would. And that's why I was curious to see how you felt about it.
I can always tell when you say it like that too. How did you feel about it?
So what were your thoughts?
Psychoanalyzing me.
I really like this album, but again, I like listening to what he's gonna say. Like, one of my favorite songs on the album is They Told Me Jump, I Said How High, which is a spoken word song. I don't really think he sings at all on it. It is just him sitting there with a sort of bluegrassy kind of hillbilly sound, talking into that mic.
What does it
And
all mean?
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
How did they manage to combine so many elements that you typically would not care about at all into something that you deeply enjoy?
Into something I deeply enjoy. I also, I was going to ask, can I cuss on this? Can I cuss? As if it's not our podcast, it goes nowhere, but where we wanted to, we're not adults.
And we've also cursed a lot.
And have also said
recently.
a lot of bad words. I love the way he enunciates cock on this song. Like those ASMR tingles, where it's just a good sound to the ears. The way he says cock, straight to the brain.
Quack.
Cock. Hard syllables.
Can you say, because this still makes me laugh, and you already know what I'm asking, which is, you have long been someone who has said cock is the least sexy way to refer to it, which I think is reasonable. However, you read a fan fiction and you were so shocked. You were so shocked by the way that this man used the word dick that you said, you know what? Maybe people need to start writing cock for a while. Can you give the context of the story?
I'll give the context. So I think one of my defining traits that I've come to accept is that when I am my most serious is when I sound the stupidest. I had read a fic and I said, wow, this shit's bad. I gotta turn it off. I gotta turn the fic off. The line was, I wanna see your big dumb dick. Take it out. I wanna see your big dumb dick. And I said, ooh. Maybe
it's so funny because like I can so perfectly picture in my head the kind of character where you would write that in a fic, but it's so stupid.
I read it. I said, let's give cock a try.
Let's give cock a try. You need to have a deft hand to be able to get away with that.
You sure do, and they did not. So it is. That's not my go-to word, but I think this is a fun album. Unfortunately, it pulls from a lot of things that I also really like. Mm-hmm. So no matter how much I can be like, oof, like, okay, but what is your band about? Who are you? What is your sound? I'm always going to like the music because you sound like everything I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. You love to see them develop at least kind of their own thing, or a consistent thing, something.
Just a little bit, because I also feel like just, reading the lyrics, watching the videos, I feel like they can be a creative group of people. It feels like they can be creative, so I'm curious. This is, Western music, though, so I won't hear another song for another year or two. So
it'll be a while.
It'll be a while, so we'll see what happens.
Hey, speaking of waiting years.
Let's get into the ARMY.
Let's try the ARMY.
The creators of it, BTS. Well, guys.
Brother.
Is everybody okay? Let's do a check-in.
Let's do a wellness check.
Everybody okay? Yeah? All right. BTS put out their long-awaited album. Ooh.
Everyone back from the military.
Everyone's back from the military. Everyone can work. This is their first album since Proof, I believe. Mm-hmm. But Proof was also a fake album that only had maybe 1 or 2 new songs on it because it was just a compilation. So really, this is their first album, and maybe I'd say you could push it to 6 years. Their first real album.
No, yeah, because On is the title and that's 2020.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. Life goes on.
Yeah, there's some little songs and there's solo stuff, obviously. But...
Yeah, but a BTS album.
Mm-hmm.
Map of the Soul B type era. Oh boy.
Let's start.
Oh boy.
Let's start. Swim comes out. A white woman is there.
Why would she be there? But then you realize this is Korea.
Yes, but it's just a little weird as a longtime army, because you also know, as both a longtime army and a music video purveyor, they usually don't have other people in their videos. Like,
No.
it's extremely rare that they have other people. Like, On was a big departure, but it was like they had marching bands and shit. And then there was the little side story, and it's like, okay, I guess there's that. This was so confusing, because also one thing that's odd is that it's being filmed as if the white woman on this boat is a fairly like large celebrity who's doing like a guest spot.
So this is where I'll come in. Because I know you were bad with celebrity, and I know you're also bad with white celebrity. This is a very known actress. She was in Riverdale. She also dated
I said
one of
fairly large.
Yeah, she was in Riverdale, Lotus.
Didn't even play with me.
What do you mean?
Fairly large. I'm talking C-list at the lowest.
That's Lily Reinhart. She's at least a B+. She was in Riverdale.
Who wasn't in Riverdale? That can't be the metric you use. What I mean is, like, they were filming the music video as if this was a fairly large actress, or they were gonna do a whole separate storyline. But no, it's just a typical romantic. She's walking around the boat, she can't find nobody. Oh, all of a sudden V is here. They stare at each other in a way that's supposed to be longing, but both of them are just staring.
Yes.
What's also weird is, as part of that, it's filmed and it's shot as if, number one, it's a prop boat. Number two, as if they are actually on separate prop boats.
Yes.
But they do interact at certain points where you can tell that all of them, all 7 members of BTS plus White Woman, were in the same room, occupying the same physical space at the same time. So it's like, why is it shot so weird? Why is it so inconsistent? Why is it so incoherent? There's also the weird thing where, and this is like a pet peeve of mine often in idol groups, they're all supposed to be on the same boat as a little team, arms, the captain. That's cute. Nice. All of their outfits are completely different, which would be fine if you want to do the thing where they're slightly different. The buttons are different. The jacket is different. They're also all different colors. Drives me crazy. I hate that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's a bad music video. This is your first music video back, and it sucks.
It kind of sucks. The
song is
fine.
Extremely fine.
It's
It's
fine.
deeply fine. I hated it more when it came out because it's BTS, and despite it all, and despite how much shit I talk and will continue to talk, I do kind of expect better from them a lot of the time because I know that they can do it. So when Swim came out, I liked it a lot less. Baby, after I heard the rest of this album, I said, ooh, Swim is the best song on the album.
So I've got a weird relationship with this album. I lost my place in my notes, and I saw the first thing said, I really love this album. I said, oh, what the fuck was I on? No.
You change a lot over the course of a couple months.
I do. I find myself wanting to re-listen to this album because I feel like the bones are there, and that's because Hybe has the money to pay good producers. However, what always stops me dead in my tracks where I go, should I try it again? The fundamental lack of talent. I know you said that you know BTS can do better. I don't think BTS can do better at this point. I think their level of fame,
they're not gonna.
I think their level of fame surpassed their level of talent years ago.
That's the thing is, I think it's because of what they're trying to do. They would never be as famous if they didn't make fucking Dynamite.
Absolutely.
But I think they would still probably be the biggest boy band in the world, which is why I'm like,
I don't know. I don't know if I feel the same. Because as much as I like BTS, and especially their older stuff, I don't know if they have what it takes to be a boy band in the current era. Even if they were making music as good as their old music, I think they had a sort of expiration date that no one is paying attention to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the sense that everybody does, yes. But
right.
I think that they amassed so many fans I shouldn't say so early, so relatively late. Like
Yeah.
even is it Map of the Soul Persona that has Halsey on it? Boy with Love?
Is that? Oh, yes. I think so.
It's one of the Map of the Souls for sure. Like they were still eclipsing pretty much every boy group that had existed at that point, and that is now like 8 years ago.
They were.
And so what I mean is just that they had already amassed so many fans by that point that it didn't matter if the songs they put out afterwards were not very good. I think that they could have just kept doing the same thing if they wanted to, which is why I'm like, at any point in time, they probably could. Because it's not like a lot of their solo stuff is bad. I liked Arson by J-Hope. I like Jungkook's solo album. I occasionally like the stuff that RM does. I'm extremely up and down on RM. Suga does what he do. Like, I don't think that there's a dearth of talent. Even V, I think, has like a very particular vibe to him that I can get into sometimes when presumably Hybe isn't trying to pop starify him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at any point they could. They just fucking won't. No cog in the machine is willing to make a good thing that actually showcases anybody's talents.
And I guess that's... I feel like that's also kind of my point. But I guess a good artist doesn't have to be an artist who can do a lot or do a lot of different things. BTS, each member of BTS individually is good at one specific thing, which kind of makes me feel like they're not talented, but you know, depending on the day, I could change my mind on that. However,
I think they know the puzzle and they have the puzzle pieces and they're just like, I don't like puzzles actually. Let's figure out something else to do with these things.
Yes,
and
but
then
also
it's just booty.
I think it's important to note that you did not mention every member of BTS.
No,
when
of
you
course
talked about liking things.
This is Gen 3. I completely
Jen
agree.
And Jimin are
that they are
horrible.
They should just be there to look pretty.
Horrible vocalists. They are featured so prominently on this album, which, you know, sure, everybody gets their parts, but they sound horrible.
That's not how we used to. Back in my day, Jin didn't get any lines, and people complained about it. And he said, you know, I always wanted to go into acting, so I'm really happy to be the star of music videos and to be an MC. And then we said, okay.
It's
now he's singing.
It's horrible. They ruin songs. I don't like V's voice. He sounds like a little frog man. I don't like the way he sounds in most BTS songs specifically. Also, for like the rappers of the group, RM,
they don't put together anything good on this.
J-Hope and Suga are all such distinct sounding rappers. And I feel like this album kind of just blends them all into one line with a heavy RM focus. And he's the weakest of the three. I don't know.
Maybe nowadays.
Nowadays, I don't...
I think that's fair to say.
There were a lot of songs where I said, I almost like this, but... And then I really hear it and I go, wow. Wow, I can't listen to it.
That's crazy. I thought a lot of them were so awful. Track by track. Body to body. I need some body to body. I guess. J-Hope is trying on that song, which I appreciate. Hooligan, whatever. Aliens, whatever. This song is called Faya, all caps, FYA. I felt like such an old woman clutching my pearls. I said, fuck your ass. What they talking about?
Would they be fuck your ass?
It's Faya. No. 2.0 is the second worst song on this album, I think.
Yeah. Aliens, Faya 2.0. If I had to listen to this album, immediate skips.
Murderer's Row. Derogatory.
Immediate skips.
2.0 in particular has one of the most clean examples of this thing I think about all the time, which is, you probably know people on TikTok, on Instagram, actually mostly TikTok, Twitter, etc. They'll often say MF or MFer in a very particular way that lets you know that they're a white person who uses social media a lot, but knows that they can't say the N-word. In 2.0, there's a repeating bit in the chorus where they say like, back off. Did you get what you wanted, fella? And you just go, oh, look who can't say the N word, but
Look, we
wants
can't
to
say
really
it.
bad. Because that's the other thing about these songs is you mentioned there being a lot of production talent on here. When the fuck did they buy these songs? Did they just give all of these very talented producers as much money as possible with no guidance, and so they all just phoned it in? Are all these songs old as shit? What happened?
It's
There's a song
very.
called Number 29, maybe the second best song on the album. Are you familiar with this song?
You're so. This is very ugly of you. This whole setup, this is very ugly of you.
The track features the resonant tolling of the divine bell of King Songdok, an artifact cast in 771 AD and officially designated as South Korea's national treasure, number 29. Allegedly, there's a resonant tolling in this track. It does sound like a minute and a half of complete silence.
Like I hear it for
I
the
cannot
first,
hear anything.
I hear it for the first maybe 10 to 15 seconds for sure.
I cannot hear a single thing.
I hear the doom, and then it's silent.
Like a second and a half generously.
So, and apparently that's supposed to be like the shift in the album.
Right.
Fuck off. It's rough.
I'm reading the notes I wrote because, again, I couldn't. I think this album is unlistenable, truly. Like, it's the opposite of a no skip. It is better to skip the entire album than to listen to a single song, because there's no single song that's worth listening to one other song on the album.
No.
But I have this note. I don't recall this song at all, but I said, They Don't Know About Us wants a sort of lo-fi mumble rap intro, but it sounds like a Fallout edit of a Future song instead. Fallout like the video game.
Yes,
I don't remember the song, but I assume I was accurate.
It's got that singing on it that you hear in any sort of Fallout commercial. What decade is Fallout?
50s.
50s. It's a very like sort of light 50s crooning at the start of it.
Okay. Oh, and I hear it. I just played a little bit of it. Yeah, it has like some kind of an overall filter put over it.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about, out of anything,
Yeah.
the last song on this album, Into the Sun. This song is fucking unlistenable. This is the worst song BTS has ever put out. I don't even know how you could think. The first like 30 seconds of the song are so obviously awful in every single way. I can't imagine being willing to put it out and put my name on it. Certainly not as a vocalist.
There's something about it that reminds me of something that I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's reminding me of.
The harmony is so off. The vocals are so bad, Danny. It sounds like it's been content aware scaled. Do you recall there was a really popular TikTok a while ago where someone accidentally put themselves in a content aware scale while they were laughing and couldn't stop laughing? I think Jenna Marbles did this too.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, what?
It's just like supposed to be a sort of creative sort of outro with interesting vocal effects.
This album is ass.
It's really fucking bad.
I will talk smack on BTS, but there's usually a nugget. I can understand where we are, even maybe from a certain delusional fan point. This album is fucking trash. This last song, you should not finish it. I can't imagine anyone ever wanting to listen to 3 minutes and 48 seconds. It is atrocious.
It's really bad.
From the military, you make people wait, and this is what you do?
It's really bad. It's bad to the point where it makes me wonder if BTS kind of understands music. And like if they hear a song and they see like what's kind of popping in the music scene, and if they can really understand what makes that sound and what makes it good.
The last song is so bad.
I questioned a lot with this album.
I legitimately have to wonder if that last song is a joke. That is how bad it is. That is how cartoonishly bad it is. I was like, is this a joke? Is this a clip from Run BTS that they tried to clean up and the remastering process did something to it and they thought it was funny, so they put it on the album?
Yeah. Oh, we have to move on so that we can maintain our sanity. But I do need to point out this album is titled ARIRANG, which is the Korean. Is it their national anthem or is it just sung as if it is? I'm not sure, but it is the most traditional folk songs in Korea. You go somewhere, they're singing that thing. Beautifully, they're singing it. I feel like this album was pretending to be a sort of homage almost to like Korean music and them as Korean artists, yada, yada, yada. I read somewhere that apparently they weren't going to have a lot of English on this album. They do, so I don't know if that's true or not. Hearing Body to Body, there's a part where you can hear the traditional instruments come in. You can hear the song being sang in the background. I thought, okay, this could be fun. They may be like merging traditional folk music with their song, which bands do, and it's always good. We just talked about it. It's a brief, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds of the song, and then it cuts, I believe a hard cut, back into the regular body to body song, and that's it. That is it for any sort of reference to traditional folk Korean music. And that just pissed me off. It just made me irritated. Point,
it becomes insulting. Insulting to the nation, brother.
It just kind of pissed me off a little bit. So now we can move on. Let's move on to someone who can say it and who should say
someone
it.
Who can say it, should say it, and can sing.
And can sing. Miss Coco Jones. And that's it. Do you know Coco Jones?
Y'all heard of Coco Jones? This song is such fucking bullshit, which is perfect. If you can sing like this, not even like Coco Jones, because not a lot of people can sing like Coco Jones. If you can sing even remotely in the ballpark of Coco Jones, this is the bullshit that you need to be doing.
Yes.
Kind of funky R&B instrumental. It's a real song for a minute and a half, and then it just becomes a vocal gymnastic for another minute and a half straight. Perfect. No notes. LUVAGIRL.
LUVAGIRL. I really don't have any notes for this at all. I sometimes find Coco Jones's music to be a little bit boring. This isn't boring.
No,
it's a little.
She often does very traditional R&B, which can be a little boring, especially because, like a more traditional R&B artist, her albums are really fucking long.
Really fucking long.
And so at a certain point, sometimes you're like, I don't want to listen to another ballad, actually.
But it's a little poppy. It's a little fun. I think the most important thing is how beautiful she is in the music video.
Oh yes, are you kidding me?
I love the styling of this video. I love the filter they put on it. I love it. I will probably never think about this song again after we finish recording this. However, I will think about the music video and I will watch it.
Okay.
You know, the song is fun, but it doesn't do much for me at the end of the day. It doesn't get stuck in my head.
Oh, that's fair. Sometimes I'm like, I want to listen to the last minute and a half of the song real bad. I'll just put it on.
That's fair. But no, the music video, ingrained. She's beautiful.
Listen to Coco Jones.
Listen to Coco Jones. I'm sure she'll put out another album soon.
Yeah, you're right.
Moving on. This one's for the lesbians. Okay?
What?
Naomi Scott of Lemonade Mouth, excuse me. She put out an album. That's all I have to say.
Another pop star originating with the Disney Channel original film Lemonade Mouth. Would you look at that?
Lemonade Mouth did nothing wrong.
No, that's true. When is Bridget Mendler gonna come back and stun on these hoes?
I think she's like in her PhD or something. She's busy.
I thought she already had it. She's probably doing a second, third.
Get another one. But Naomi Scott put out a beautiful, beautiful album titled F.I.G. I forget what F.I.G. stands for. Let me see if I can remember. Fall into Grace. I had to look it up. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Fall into Grace. That's right.
I really wouldn't.
Because Grace is her middle name, I think, something like that.
I think it's some.
Ooh, you know what? Because I remember I remember now. Because it's a double entendre. I don't know if you've heard of these. Also, as someone, you and I often end up on the very foofy side of Insta and YouTube with vloggers, very like manifestation. What's the thing I can never remember when you turn 30 and you go crazy?
When your Saturn returns.
When your Saturn returns, need to get into journaling, daily journaling, my affirmations. In this sort of crowd, they have, for whatever reason, suddenly become aware of Sylvia Plath's fig tree. You know what
The bell jar.
Right. The chapter, I guess the passage you might say, that is about, oh, I see this fig tree, I have obsessive compulsive disorder, depression, and so look at this tree, I see the branches, and in each nice one that I imagine, all the other ones wither, even though they're also beautiful, and it's about the decision paralysis and trying to choose a path in life. And so I think this is a deliberate pun, because why the fuck would you call this album Fig?
Right.
Instead of Fall into Grace. And also Fall into Grace, it's like, I get it, but it's obviously a backronym to call it Fig.
Okay.
But you can do whatever you want when you make a nice little R&B album.
You can do whatever you want when you make an album this nice. This is a great album from start to finish. I think like the highest praise I can give it is I'll find myself humming a song or singing a song and I go, gosh, what is that song? I feel like it's
got really catchy melodies.
It's got to be a song that I've heard for years and I've loved for years. And no, it's just from this album that I've known for a month.
Yeah, some of them have on a less charitable day, I would say that it's generic, but I like the album a lot. Maybe it is timeless. At some point, maybe I'll think of a song that it sounds just like, and I'll go, aha. But for now, timeless quality to the melodies.
I think there are very specific, I don't remember which songs there are, and if it's really a song or just a way that she sings on it, that very specifically remind me of Kalela and Now, N-A-O. I think that's how you say her name.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
From like whenever I was just faffing about in college, like maybe 2016-ish, 2017-ish.
Faffing about, you feeling British too? British women can sing. Did you know that?
British women can sing. There's something over
really
there.
Sing sometimes.
They can sing. And hey, she sings, and she sings a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I hate to give a man anything. And I hate to also potentially take away from what she can do as an artist. But there are some very clear inspirations and possibly even contributions from Dev Hynes, who performs as Blood Orange on this album. I personally think Dev Hynes is one of the most talented producers and singers and artists. Just generally speaking.
Okay.
And I think he's on this album, and I think it's only better because of it.
The more you know.
But it's great. This was a nice little random thing where I said, Naomi Scott.
Yeah, this is a very nice surprise for me because I had no idea. You just put it on there and I said, okay.
You know, I was like, Naomi Scott, the name is familiar. Listened to it, said, wow, this is great. Looked her up, Lemonade Mouth, of course.
Of course. The thing is, name, not familiar to me at all, but Naomi Scott that's maybe the most British name I've ever heard in my life.
Yes, it is.
Every other English woman is named Naomi Scott.
When I first looked her up, when I first looked her up and I just simply saw, British actress or English actress, I cycled through at least 5 different white women that I thought she was before I just looked up an image.
Right.
It's a British name. This is
honestly
honestly
a nice classic British lady's name.
And this is a pretty British album as well, frankly.
It is. That's true.
The Brits do it real good. Would you like to move on?
I guess. I know I put this here.
Uh-oh.
But I guess.
So Underscores came back with an album that the people are loving.
the people are loving. I really like Underscore's other two albums, which are
Wall
kind
socket.
of alt pop, alt rock, indie tronica with, I guess, some hyper pop influence, you could say, but hyper pop is quickly becoming a buzzword so large as to overtake anything that's pop music that a gay white looking person has touched. So I saw that this album had come out, and I was like, oh, hype. Saw a lot of people liked it. People were calling it more poppy, more hyper poppy, more electro poppy. I said, ooh, hype. This sounds
That's
really
not
fun.
good.
No, that is fun. That's good. It was hype. It was exciting. This album fucking sucks.
I mean, in regards to this album, that's not good.
Yeah. Hyper pop is like mumble rap for white people,
Yeah.
in the sense that, like, it maybe has been something original and interesting, an offshoot of a particular kind of sound. Thanks, Sophie, legitimately. And A.G. Cook. But then everybody else who does it really bad and really basic. It especially on this album, I'm like, I feel like I've heard every single song on this multiple times before. This is also like, I do think we're past the saturation point for hyperpop, because Brat was the most successful album of like the decade almost. And so then everyone from little teeny tiny indie underground artists to the biggest pop women in the world decided that they needed to make a hyperpop inspired thing. But when it's bad, it's really bad. And I think this album is really bad and mostly just adds a lot of messy, generic loops to gauche recession pop. Because that is part of the trend, is recession pop. We're in a recession again. It's back. Poker face, Lady Gaga. I think this was all made on the road, which is fine. But that's a fun detail.
I listened to these singles kind of as they were releasing. I don't know Underscore. I haven't listened to Underscore's first album, but I've listened to Wall Socket, and I really like Wall Socket.
If you liked Wall Socket, you'll like Fishmonger.
Okay, then I'll listen to it. I heard these singles, and I said, maybe Underscores wasn't the artist that I was listening to.
Right.
Maybe Wall Socket's not by Underscores. Because I think as singles, these songs are horrible as singles, firstly, just in general.
They're really tough as singles.
They're
really tough.
Bad fucking singles. As an album...
The only one I can almost defend is actually the first single, Tell Me You Want It, because I think that the first, like, 15 seconds of that song are really catchy. And, like, they kind of drew me in, and I was like, ooh, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. And the full song, compared to most of the other songs on this album, I do think is better.
I agree.
The other ones.
I agree. There's some like interesting ideas kind of on here. Just sonically, there's some interesting ideas, and I guess as a full album, I can see how it's a good album.
It is cohesive.
I can see as a full album how
full idea.
Yes, 100%. But I think it's bland for the type of music it's supposed to be. I think it's bland. I think it's noisy for no real reason without even being fully noisy.
Yeah, it's not the heaviest noisy pop music I've heard even this week.
It feels oddly enough like someone making an album for the first time and they're a little bit afraid to go all the way for it, which is confusing because Underscores has made albums where I felt like she did do it. She did go for it. This is such a commercial success in a bad way.
Yeah, emphasis on commercial success. I already said just really goes recession pop. Several tracks on this album, but especially the track Do It, which might be my least favorite, which I think is the most popular one, sounds like a song by Future Sex era Justin Timberlake, but like a pack-in remix. Not even like a radio mix, not even a DJ, And for the next hour, sponsored by Wonder Bread, we have no ads.
Yeah.
A pack-in remix, just fucking trashy. And here's the thing that it doesn't do, that is the most like standard hyperpop thing that everybody does, is all the songs on this album are way too fucking long.
Yes, they are.
This is a pop album. This is an electro pop album. This is a quote unquote hyper pop album. The shortest song is almost 3 minutes long, which
Yes,
is fine,
is.
but that's the shortest song. The songs are more in the 4-minute range. 3.5, 4-minute range. Some going to 4.5 minutes.
I just picked up my calculator and I did the math. These songs are an average of 3.78 minutes long, maybe. Ooh, maybe.
Oh, wow, you really did do the math.
And
I thought you were being funny.
I picked up my calculator and I did the math. That's too fucking long. These songs the longest should be 2:49 should be where we're pushing it.
You can have one song that pushes 3:30 to me.
You've got
like a couple
lot
3:30s, but that's your max. You need to be averaging it at 2:45.
No, they're long, and they feel long for this type of music.
They feel long because like the thing that is the grim irony of the songs being too long is that every time a song threatens to do something new or something interesting to the genre and to the album and to the individual song, the third chorus, whatever, it doesn't. It just goes back to like a lo-fi funny chorus.
Yes.
There's so many tremendously corny "I'm 14 and this is deep" lyrics.
Bitches ain't saying
all
shit.
over this shit. Y'all would make fucking Halsey blush at the shit that's on this fucking album.
Yes. And another reason why I said maybe I'm misremembering who made, I don't know, underscores. Because I feel like before the lyrics were at the very least fucking interesting.
They feel so recycled. Even like, obviously part of it is like, oh, it's doing it on purpose, which is, it's like the camp defense where something is bad, but you say that it's camp so you can cope.
Uh-huh.
Some of it is on purpose. It is intentionally trashy. It intentionally sounds like recession pop. It intentionally sounds like shitty pop music from 15 years ago. It intentionally has corny, stupid lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I'm cringe, but I'm free or something. Who cares? Mm-hmm. It's a bad album.
I think
which is such a bummer.
I think it's a pretty bad album.
This is such a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, kind of a shock to see the response to it.
Yeah.
But we can move on.
Let's move on.
So, Galen Tipton, is that how I said it the first time? Galen?
Yeah, it was before the podcast where you said Galen, and I was like, I think usually that name is pronounced Galen, so let's just go with Galen.
Put out just an album just solo. Now, Lotus, we talk a lot.
Up?
We tend to talk a lot to each other. There was a moment where...
Yeah, we do. You're right.
There is a moment where you mentioned a Bleep Bloop album on this list because I like Bleep Boop music.
Uh-huh.
Is it this album?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I've got to tell you...
Nothing's bleepier and bloopier than
this. It's 100% this album icked me the fuck out.
I was so curious. This album is Tide Pool Bath by Galen Tipton. Mm-hmm. And we just talked about them working on Mobile Suit Gym Rat, New Jack Swing, hip hop, lots of samples, etc. Tide Pool Bath is a kind of bizarre, I guess you'd call it an ambient electronic album. It is very heavy on sampling nature sounds, like the sounds of water pouring, or what I think are dolphins or some other kind of cetacean clicking, which sometimes gives it like an ASMR kind of quality. It can get very close to the ears, and I do think that this is totally intentional because there's songs called there's a song called Ocean Stimboard. So if Brain Bath, which is another song, didn't make you think that, I think Ocean Stimboard is pretty strong in that direction. Lots of bleeps, lots of bloops that can massage the ears in an interesting way. I was very curious to know how you would feel about it.
I think thematically it's on the nose. However,
it's perfect.
I like a lot of the sounds in it, but there are very specific sounds, and maybe every song, I listened to the first one, I said, ooh, I feel a little sick listening to this. And then from there on, I got maybe 30 to 45 seconds into the rest, if that.
They do. What is that thing?
They,
Oh no, what is it called? Is it called Cuban syndrome? That thing where all those CIA operatives claimed that they were like mysteriously getting sick in Cuba, and they thought they were like, oh, it's a sound weapon. Do you know what I'm talking about?
vaguely, that sounds familiar.
I'll look it up.
I think that happened to me. I think that also happened to me.
Havana syndrome. Pardon.
I think I
Also
may
known
have
as
got,
AHIs, anomalous health incidents.
I think I got that too.
I think you got Havana syndrome.
Just like them.
The thing is, I would adore this as a video game soundtrack a lot. I don't know if I'll really listen to it so much, but I find it a fascinating thing.
I agree with fascinating. There's a sound that kind of sounds like it's watery, but my brain doesn't hear water. My brain just hears someone licking in my ear. It sounds like deep mouth noises.
Some people love mouth noises.
Some people
Not
do.
me, though.
Not me. And
I
so
can do gum chewing.
I
can't
listened
do,
to this and I said,
mouth noises.
I had to quit. I said, I can't listen to
that's
this.
fine.
I think it's making me feel sick. I think it's giving me Havana syndrome.
Well, maybe, hey, listen to that one if you are curious.
I think it's a fun album to listen to just to experience.
It makes me feel like
different
a
things.
Pikmin. It makes me feel like a water Pikmin.
Yeah.
Or I guess a blue Pikmin. I don't think they call them water Pikmin.
I think this would be great in an aquarium where there's sounds of the people on top of it, so that nasty underlayer, you don't really hear it. I enjoyed its inclusion. I didn't enjoy how it made me feel, but I enjoyed its inclusion.
It's an art piece that we wanted to discuss.
Yes. We can move on to, I think, one of our favorite artists, frankly, Charlie Puth.
Why do you say it like that?
Is that not how he says it?
Now, you didn't say, is that not how it's said? You said, is that not how he says it? Read. I was going to say read the script. You were making this up. If we had a script, you would have said it like that.
Charlie Puth put out an album, Whatever's Clever. Gosh.
This is so... the first words that I wrote for my notes, what a weird thing he did here.
So...
But I do think it suits him.
I think it suits him incredibly well. My first note, I find Charlie Puth slightly off-putting as a singer and musician. But I do think it suits him.
I think it suits him. Okay, so let's define. It is a much more soul and R&B influenced sound he normally just makes, I would say, very bog standard pop music. It's like a little bit intentionally emptier. He has a quieter kind of voice. But that makes it, I would say overall, you'd maybe call it like a yacht rock pop crossover kind of album thing.
Maybe, yeah.
When the soul and R&B influences come in, it can be very awkward.
It's awkward, and here's the problem.
Not bad, but awkward.
It's awkward. I would say last year and moving into this year, white boys who could sing discovered black people. And it kind of shifted pop music in a weird way. And that's heavy on this album. Those early singles that he put out, heavy on oh no, I love black music. Oh no, I love black music. I love gospel.
The full picture makes more sense, but it's a little awkward, which is why it's a shame that he is a pop star.
Yeah.
Because you immediately presume he's just going to move on to something else because that's what pop stars do. When I'm like, I would like to see him take another crack at it, knowing what he knows now and maybe
I think
make
it could be
something that suits him even better as opposed to kind of trading in all these different things to kind of nail it down.
I think it could be a lot better. And what I will say, I only liked a couple of songs on this album at the end of the day. I liked the singles at the start, but they didn't really hold up for me. I really like Sideways with Coco Jones.
That's a good song. I was going to say he's a very good singer, Charlie Puth, but he doesn't have a strong voice, like I said.
Yeah.
Which is normally, if you have guests, and especially a guest like Coco Jones, you run the risk of getting trampled, but there was like what I thought was a really kind of classy balance. Maybe I just like the song, maybe it's the sound of the production on some of the music, but it doesn't sound like he's just getting overtaken or anything.
No.
It's like he's the cool pop star who like invited someone he loves on stage to sing with him, and he's just
Yes.
happy to like listen to them. It had a very classy balance to it. Also,
Yes.
Utada Hikaru is on this album.
That is the second song that I surprisingly really like on this album.
Danny, that song is fucking excellent.
It's
I
a
truly
very good song.
I really like the lead single Changes, except that is where the soul influence comes in most strongly, where a full Christian choir comes in the last 30 seconds or so. And also that song is slightly too long. I think without that, it'd probably be number one. But Home featuring Utada Hikaru is just
Very
an excellent fucking song. Do you know how good that song has to be for me to not mind you ad-libbing in Japanese? Mm-hmm. Come on.
Those two songs, I think, are a great example of how to have a feature on an album. The way that he blends Utada into that song is so beautiful. Coco Jones, beautiful.
It's a great
the
song.
way he harmonizes with her, despite not being on her level in terms of like what he can do with his voice, he sounds amazing on that song with her. Mm-hmm. Again,
I also don't mind the song Love in Exile, which also has guests on it, Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins, which is
that's right,
interesting.
Kenny on there.
Hey, that was more interesting too, because also part of me has to wonder, right? If you are making a album as a modern pop star, in order to flesh out the track list with features, the good songs are going to go to the songs with features on them, because you're trying to kind of put all the power behind that. And so I'm like, I do kind of wonder what the songs would be like with just him on them. Like, how much is it just the song itself carrying it? Because a lot of songs where he's alone, it's not a bad performance, but those songs aren't very good.
No, I think
Hey Brother, I used to be cringe. Don't Meet Your Heroes is like in between, where I'm like, that's kind of whatever, but I kind of get
knock
this here.
him out for some of these songs.
Yeah.
However, Love in Exile, I think he could do Love in Exile by himself. I don't think he could do Sideways or Home by himself. I feel like those songs are boosted by the features, but Love in Exile, he could have done that. I think that's a sound that works very well for him.
Yeah. He should do another one like this. A deluxe. Something.
I think he could do a little bit more and make it really good.
Let's stay here. You can't be the guy who sang the song for that guy who slipped on the banana peel like dry bones in the race or whatever. You can't be that guy forever.
You can't be that guy forever. Oh, another thing. I mentioned earlier that I find Charlie Puth a bit off-putting.
A little bit.
I still think that way. There's a weird, like, boyish charm that he puts on that I don't think suits him, despite the fact that he does look very boyish. It's a little off-putting. The biggest issue I have is that fucking vibrato that he loves to do. However, on this album, it didn't feel... It wasn't very prominent. I feel like I didn't hear his vibrato.
No, I don't think so either.
Which makes me... So now I know you don't have to sing like that.
That is not your natural voice,
That
Charlie.
is, you are doing it purposefully. Stop doing it. Make another album. You'll get somewhere.
Let's get into it. Come on.
It's
Honestly, like straight up, just run it back.
Yeah. You could just stay here.
Some little tweaks. Hey, at any point in time, invite Utada Hikaru back. The song did well. They sounded like they had a good time. Ask them if they want to do another one. And knowing Utada Hikaru, the answer will be yes. Because if they work with someone once, they'll work with someone 5 times.
Yes. Let's do it again.
Let's go again.
Oh, continuing on, we have Fetty Wap on here. A late
Fetty Wap,
edition.
he's out.
He's out early too. Congrats.
For drugs, man. Whatever.
So I can't sell drugs.
So we can't sell drugs.
Got it. Now I know that we can't sell drugs apparently in America. Fetty Wap put out an album, Zavier, which, if I remember correctly, I don't think his name is Xavier, but apparently it's like it's at the
No,
very
I was
least a nickname that people who know him personally call him.
yeah, something. It's so funny because when you would read interviews about this, because obviously I was like, what the fuck is that? He wouldn't specify. He would just be like, well, that's me.
Yeah, like
And I'm like, did the interviewer want to ask if that was a nickname? If that was
nope,
like, just didn't ask anything.
nope. But it's some kind of nickname. Apparently, it's a more personal name for him, which I think
Exploring
is
a different side on this album.
I think it's very fitting. This
Yeah.
is such an interesting album for Fetty Wap, who is known for sort of, I mean, for like just trap music, really, with a little bit
Yeah.
of crooning here and there. This is an oddly romantic, pining R&B
Yeah.
album for a majority
so-
of it. It shifts a little
It's
bit.
so interesting. Yeah.
It's
Like you
so
said,
interesting.
he's mostly made trap music and some pretty fucking good trap music.
Yes.
And we knew he could sing because he'll sing a bit here and there. I didn't expect him to just put out a mostly vocal album.
Yes.
Watch out, Drake. Since you don't want to do this no more and be a freak,
Move over. You're done. Fetty's back.
you're done. This album is so inconsistent. Not in a
Yes,
bad
it
way,
is.
but in the sense that it's just a bunch of songs. Like there is a full out jazz / like swing track, and then before that song is a soft R&B ballad, and then after that song is a trap pop song about tearing the pussy up.
Yes, I love it.
It's a fun song, or it's a fun song. It's a fun album all throughout. It makes no goddamn sense though.
No, the first song on this album is very much a "I'm out of jail and I've been missing you" song. Immediately, it goes into a song that is just waxing poetic about weed with Wiz Khalifa.
And I said, you know what? Hell yeah.
I said, "Hell yeah, I love it."
I didn't know what song was ever going to come next, but by about 45 seconds in, I said, you know what? Hell yeah.
I have a lot of fun listening to this song. I laughed out loud when I was listening to LYG, which stands for Love Your Girl, a song that I can't quite tell if it's a song about, I believe, being in a relationship with and loving a woman who is with another man. But there's also a couple of verses where it sounds like the person singing, Fetty, in the feature are also cheating. It's hard. It's a song about cheating. Whatever. When Fetty Wap sings in a beautiful little voice, "Fuck your nigga skirt." Love it. Love it.
Ooh,
No
it's good
fucking
when it really comes out of nowhere like that.
It does. The end of this album I didn't like as much. The end of the album kind of pivots into a very like cypher style traditional rap album that's very much about life, doing crimes, loyalty,
Ooh,
going to
what,
jail,
though?
the justice system, etc.
I didn't like so much that, except I do like Never Tell.
Let me give it a quick.
That's the one where he's talking about the guy who fucking sent him to jail. Like in court, and he's like, I forget exactly what the lyrics are, but it's something to the effect of like, he looked me right in my eyes, and that motherfucker didn't even get acquitted. And it's like it's got a really catchy hook to it, and he's singing a little bit more on that one too. It's a fun song.
It's a fun
despite
song.
being real as shit.
Yes, and like I really appreciate those songs, but I think coming off of the rest of the album, which is pretty long but goes by really fast, despite it being I think an hour-long album. It feels just a little bit. It's a hard pivot that I appreciate lyrically and like just for what they are in this story that is Zavier, but I don't gel with them as much.
That's fair. The other ones I could leave, but Never Tell I'm keeping.
Okay. Yeah. Good album, interesting album, fun album. I think. Oh no. We've got a couple more for the month of March. We're still in March.
Oh yeah, just barely.
Robyn.
No, hang on. Were you guys scared? Raise your hand if you were scared. Sexistential by Robyn, the first single of which came out was Dopamine, which is a great song. And you're like, oh yeah, Robyn. I don't know if you had this experience as well. Dancing on My Own by Robyn came out in 2011.
Yes.
I thought that song, hearing it for the first time, also probably in 2011, 2012, because it's a synth pop song, I thought it was super old. So when I found out that Robyn was still making music at that age, like when I'm, 12 or 13, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, it sounds like a
Dopamine
song.
classic. Just good Robyn synth pop.
Uh-huh.
And then the second single, the second plane came, and this one crashed. Sexistential, the title track. I just said a lot of shit about that Underscores album. I said that I didn't like that album that those other guys put out because I thought it sounded kind of fake. We talked a lot of shit about BTS too. As far as singles go, I think Sexistential is the worst single I've heard this year. This song is fucking awful.
Robyn.
You don't like spoken word, you don't like talk rapping. This is so weird, and it's so like, this is gonna come up. I was gonna say again very shortly. It already came up a little bit talking about Brat, talking about Charlie XCX, and how now like every female pop star is like brat, sex, camp. Robyn was already that, and so Sexistential is so obviously put on. It's such a nasty song, not even just because a lot of the sexual lyrics are deliberately nasty. It sounds nasty. It's fake nasty, which is nastier in a not fun, nasty way. This song sucks.
She was out of her fucking mind putting this one out.
Out of her
fucking mind.
Who would be your dream sperm donor? Well, Adam Driver was really sexy. And that, oh, God, what the... I will say, this is the only part that makes me laugh because she's talking to someone.
Yes.
Supposedly. And she says, yeah, Adam Driver was great in Don't Mess with the Zohan. And I said, where am I?
Hey, Robyn, where are you, girl? What is it? Let me find it. Because there was one where I said, what the fuck? That image of that man taking his headphones off aggressively. Oh, fuck a single mom. I'm not judgmental. Emma sweatpants and some juicy hentai. I said, you're out of your goddamn mind talking to me like this. Robyn, you're grown. Your music has defined so many things. Why would you say that?
This sucks. Which, hey, it's a mystery. There's some other like kind of weird stuff or quote unquote camp in other songs. Like there's the song "Blow My Mind," which has like little Japanese chipmunkified samples in it, right? And it has some kind of odd lyrics that are slightly more reminiscent of Sexistential. However, pound for pound, the song is a complete outlier. It has nothing to do with the rest of the album, despite the album being named after it. It's so weird. So I was really scared.
You were scared.
And then she put out a phone sex synth pop album, Talk to Me, which is a very good song. The whole rest of the album is good to varying degrees. Dopamine and Talk to Me are like the ones for me. I also like the last song, which name is escaping me, but I'll get there in a second. What was going on at Robyn HQ?
She's doing whatever. I've never been the biggest Robyn fan, honestly. I used to be afraid to say that, but I think I've come into my gayness and lesbianism enough to where I can say it confidently now.
You've come into your homophobia.
I've come into it, and so I've never been a big fan. I think the only song I really like on this album is Sucker for Love. However, girl, go ahead. Her delivery on most of this album is so oddly perverted, even when the songs aren't. Then I say, yeah, girl. Yeah, girl, go ahead. I don't got nothing to say.
The last song, Into the Sun, I like that one too.
Yeah, it's not bad. It sounds like Robyn.
Yeah. For most of the album, it is overall, again, we're just ignoring Sexistential for anything. I just refuse to acknowledge it.
Let's see. We've got to figure out. We've got to figure out, where were you at when Sexistential came out, Robyn? Robyn, where were you?
Apparently ovulating. She says it a few times in the song. Were you not paying attention? But like, yeah, Into the Sun sounds a little bit more like the most baseline Robyn song that you could have. A lot of the other ones, they do have a lot of Robyn-ness to them, but they're like, there is a little bit more sexuality to them.
Yeah.
Not to the extent of Sexistential, but I'm like, you know what? This is fun. I'm having fun.
Can I give you a
I
little
think it's
info
fun.
about Sexistential, actually?
Of course you can. I'd love to know.
It's about, quote, the unique travails of trying to get laid during IVF treatment. And it was inspired by Andre 3000, who in 2023 said that, quote, no one would want to hear him rap about getting a colonoscopy. Robyn then said, it was my cue. I have to do this. I have to write a rap about IVF.
Well, now I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah.
Absolute nonsense.
Because that's the funniest that's like a Björk level reasoning to have a song.
That was my cue. I have to do this. I have to write a rap about IVF. And Mama, you wrote a rap about IVF and a lot of other things.
She is, though. Anyways, listen to everything but that song.
Listen to everything but that song.
But the title track, that's the thing that really will never...
The title track, album named after it. The
Yeah.
basis for this entire album.
No.
Let's move on to another artist who is hot these days. And I'm going to say it right now. Who is hot these days and is putting out just shitty music.
Not even any kind of pretense.
No, hey, Lotus, I'm sick of it.
You're sick of it? You're sick of Slayyyter?
I'm sick of Slayyyter. Slayyyter put out Worst Girl in America with a $sign in the...
Worst Girl in America.
Worst Girl in America.
Unfortunately, I did read Homestuck as a tween. So anytime there's like a letter, or not a letter, I'm sorry, a number or a character replacing a letter, if it's an S, that's a list to me. Shoutouts to Solix. Worst Girl in America. Anyways.
I am so horribly sick of people thinking that they can do what Kesha did when they grew up.
Thank you, Trixie.
When they grew up in suburbs, when they could afford to go to college, when they, as far as I know, have had no addiction, no nothing, no nothing. You smoked weed in high school? Yeah, so did a lot of people.
I didn't even write this down, but we'll talk about it. Yes, I don't remember which song it is. Where it might be Beat Up Chanel's. Part of the chorus is her saying like, yeah, I'm gonna go to a party, I'm gonna do drugs. But like actually like that. I'm gonna do drugs at the party. And I'm like, I know I'm a square, because Danny, all that stuff you said, that's me. I never done none of that shit. I haven't even smoked weed. I am a square. And I was like, why can I understand exactly what you're saying? Why does it sounds like me at the age of like 15 trying to describe going to a cool party. Yeah, I did drugs and I was dancing with people at the party.
It's crazy. It's is really some basic ass party girl poser shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so poserish, and it's also, as we talked about a little bit with the Sophs, you can be a poser if the production and the vocals are there, if they match well enough. Because also, do you know what the first song of this Dance ... of this album really reminds me of? Turn Off the Light by Kim Petras. Kim Petras is a fucking poser, 100%. The only thing she's not a poser in is being trans. She's literally a trans woman. But like everything else, like
people say, well, actually,
no, I just mean in terms of, because she does have like, oh, teehee queer camp, and it's like, yeah, you're a trans woman, you could do whatever, like, sure, like, yeah, you could claim that. But when it comes to so much of the other shit, it's poser shit. You expect me to believe that Kim Petras is a fucking horror girly? No, she just thinks it's like a fun aesthetic sometimes. Turn Off the Light by Kim Petras, deluxe edition, is an excellent synth pop, like kind of dirty, sometimes kind of like nasty album about her just killing people and being the killer, and Elvira's on it, and it's a fun album. And this immediately, with the party girl vibes, with the deep synths, with the gothic synths and the kind of gothic repetitive tones, makes it compare really unfavorably to that album immediately. It does have like a slightly grittier sound, I think, which would suit Slayyyter if they went further into it, especially on the song Beat Up Chanel's. Beat Up Chanel's. That song has some character that the rest of the album literally just doesn't have at all. I think the chorus to that song is actually really catchy, where it started to get me. I listened to Dance and I was like, man, this is so whatever. This just sounds like a bad song from Turn Off the Light. Beat Up Chanel's, I'm like, okay, like I kind of see where we're going. And then there's just not a lot after it. Even
No.
that song, it's silly party shit. It's fake. That continues on throughout the album. And then also a lot of the mixing, and
Yes.
especially the effects, I mean in general, but specifically on Slayyyter's voice, are
Yes.
so basic. It makes her vocal performance sound much worse than it is. Because I think
Yes.
she does a fine performance. It could be grittier. It could be nastier. But it makes it sound so bad.
Yeah, that was, I think when the first single came out, I said, or maybe not the first, I think when I heard Crank for the first time, I said, this beat could really do
Crank.
something, but she sounds so fucking bad on it. Also, this album is, I don't think, it's not dirty enough, it's not gritty enough, it's
No.
not bass boosted at all, in my opinion.
No, again, Beat Up Chanel's gets the closest. But even
guess-
then, it's really holding back.
Yes, it's such a produced album for a sound that should be just messy.
It should be bullshit.
It should be bullshit. Like, lyrics aside, I'm on junkie time. Lyrics aside, it's poser shit.
Yeah. It's so lame.
And like a lot of the songs end up they sound the same.
Yeah, this is another album that's much longer than it needs to be. When you're making club music, songs need to be, well, barring house music, because y'all know I like house music, but for other kinds of club music, the song, or at least the structure of an individual song, you can have a mix that's really long, right? You can have a song that's 9 minutes long that's actually 4 songs. You need short, snappy songs on an album that is overall kind of short. 45-minute album where every song is like a minute and a half long. This is not dance music. This is not designed to be DJs. It's not designed to be remixed or mixed at all.
No.
I'm sure somebody can because it uses the same fucking time signature that everything does, and because you can very cleanly chop it up because the production is too clean on it. So there's
Yes.
that. But where's the fun in that?
Yes. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. I hate this album. I hate it so much.
I'm surprised by how much you hate it, actually. I dislike it.
I really hate
I would
this
want
album.
something more.
I think it's I think it's irredeemable.
Damn.
I'm also shocked by how strongly I feel about it, but I can't help how I feel, you know?
No.
I can't help where
It's honesty on the podcast.
yeah. But that's how March ended. So let's move into April with Thundercat.
Yay.
April, a short little month for music.
Yeah.
But, you know, I stopped listening after a certain point. Thundercat put out Distracted, an album that had what felt like 1 million singles released prior to the album coming out itself. I was going to say I'm a big Thundercat fan. I'm a big fan of his debut album. Something with the apocalypse. The cover looks like someone made a personal Power Rangers logo. I'm a big fan of that album. It was very like
The golden age of apocalypse.
there it is. It was a very like important album for me in high school and like kind of defining my music taste. That being said, none of his music since then has really hit that point for me. And Distracted continues the trend.
Really?
Yeah. I did this to myself with Lil Yachty because Lil Yachty on there is fun. Flying Lotus is also incredibly
Lil
talented.
Yachty's verse on that song is really fun. I think that's probably the peak of the album for me.
Yeah. I think it may be.
Yeah, I love the bass is like super funkadelic, which like funk and funkadelic psychedelic, that's a consistent theme on the album, at least in some levels, but this is like the funkadelic song.
Yes.
Lil Yachty's verse is so fun, really energetic, like on the back of the track. So I at least agree with you on there.
And like, well, here's the thing. I'm saying it continues a trend of not being as good as his first album. I'm not saying it's a bad album. I think it's a good album. I don't love all the features on it. I think this could have been a lot stronger without some of the songs with features. I do like Thunder Wave with Willow. I think that's a beautiful song.
Yeah, that song's good.
But overall, I think there's maybe a little too much singing on the album.
Oh, you think? Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel. There's too much singing on the album for me. I love just music and sounds where like there's maybe 70%, 65% vocals, and it's just Thundercat. This isn't a bad album though.
Yeah, he's one of the he's considered one of the greatest bassists of all time for good reason.
Yes, this is an amazing album. It sounds great. All the songs are good. I just, I think it's fine. I think it's
there's like
go ahead.
the one thing for his vocals for me is that like he'll often be doing this thing that people joke about all the time, where you're singing fun psychedelic da 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 da, like it's objectively a dancey track. This also happens a lot with Mexican music, like cumbia and norteño music and stuff, where it sounds really fun and everyone's cutting up on the dance floor, but it's about like being divorced and left alone to rock or something like that. Sometimes that works. There's other times where I'm like, everything in his vocals, whether it's just the tone of how he's singing or the lyrics themselves, and there's plenty of these kinds of lyrics on there, there's always levity to it. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, I wish that it would just kind of fall away and he would just be sincere a lot of the time when he does do the vocals. And I think that maybe that would help it for me, because I don't think I really felt like there were too many lyrics on it overall.
No, not quite. It's just it's Thundercat's music, I feel, used to be very much about the music and what he can do with instruments and such. And this just didn't feel like it to me.
Okay.
I feel like this didn't showcase his talents as much as it could have. A lot of it kind of flows into one another to where I think a lot of the songs sort of start to sound the same. I can't really pick out a song that feels different or stand out. It's like a solid 7 out of 10 for me.
There's a few. I like I Did This to Myself. I like Funny Friends a lot. Walking on the Moon is funny to me. I know I just said the thing about his lyrics, but what I like about Walking on the Moon is he kind of is initially making like metaphors with sci-fi characters, and then they just like slowly start to break down until at the end he just says Event Horizon. Like he doesn't say anything. He's not, you're my this, I'm your that, we're in this universe. He just says Event Horizon. I think it really caught me off guard. I thought it was funny. I'm sure that you could read into it because like themes of the album and whatnot. But as a silly jab, I like that. But yeah, a lot of the other songs I'm like, these do kind of fill it out. None of them sound bad, but they kind of fill it out. I didn't really care for the Mac Miller song.
No, not at all.
A posthumous, it sounds like it is disconnected because it's a posthumous rap. He was not here to make the rap for the song. So
yeah.
Presumably Thundercat built the song around that, but it still seems kind of weird. It sounds kind of odd.
I'm pretty against posthumous releases in general, especially features. But yeah, it wasn't very good. I think that's the one song where I could say I didn't like it at all. And the rest were just fine.
That's fair.
Let's pop one over real quick to Danny's little bullshit island. Just real quick.
bullshit white boy garage island.
Let's make a quick little pit stop. The Strokes are back. Well, they're on their way back. Which I personally have been asking for quite some time now. The Strokes are one of my favorite bands. I think just hearing my music taste, that's very unsurprising that the Strokes would be one of my favorite bands. They are coming out with an album in June, Reality Awaits, and we were blessed with a single from that upcoming album titled Going Shopping. This song is classic The Strokes with a good heavy dosing of Julian Casablancas bullshit. And if you have followed the Strokes for any amount of time, you will know that Julian Casablancas is full of shit, almost consistently full of shit. This song, beautiful song music-wise. The band is playing beautifully. And Julian Smith is singing over it very nicely, as he usually does. However, his vocals are 100% from the 0th second to the last second auto-tuned. And it's kind of shitty auto-tune, frankly. I don't think it's like auto-tune where you're trying to be fun with it or do something interesting. It's simply auto-tuned. I like it.
Well, there you have it, folks.
I like it. Can I listen to it often? Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, what was it that you said to me? You said, I just put a song on there that I think you're going to hate. I think that's what you said to me.
Yes.
I listened to it once and I said, yeah, whatever. So I don't hate it, but I won't listen to it again.
And, I probably won't listen to it again, but when the album comes out, I'll listen to it. I won't skip it. It's weird. It because of the auto-tune, it takes on just like, it makes you feel dizzy. Mm-hmm. It's a mixture of like whatever the sound of dizziness is and the slide whistle. It's just a little loopy.
Did you get punched by a boxing glove gun?
You're here going shopping in your head. So yeah, the response to it has been a mixture of, hey, this isn't good. Why would you do this? And shills like me who love it.
Don't call yourself a shill.
I mean, I'll be a little
You're a
more
regular old
kind.
Delulu.
A regular old Delulu. I do it for free. So that's that. More on that song next month. Or in a couple of months,
More next
rather.
month. Right. Who knows?
Who knows?
The schedules for albums coming out? No, I can't stand it no more.
No, they all release on the same day. And it's also just, please stop with the singles.
We don't need 5 singles.
We don't need 5. Moving on, Jessie Ware, the queen of white woman disco, put out an album, Superbloom. Lotus? I don't want to be a pervert.
Never.
So that's not what I'm intending with these words.
Uh-huh. No, not at all.
Listening to the first, let me get my times.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps a minute, frankly. Maybe a minute and a half. The whole song even. Of I Could Get Used to This. I felt like a woman.
I said, oh.
I said, I've come into my womanhood.
What's that song they make the female idols sing? The Coming of Age Day song? What is that song called?
Yes. I think it is just called Coming of Age.
Oh, God.
The way she sings Pleasure's Just Around the Corner before going into the chorus, I said, this is what sexiness is. She just created it right here with this line.
This woman has had sex.
This is a woman who has had sex and she knows what sex is. And she's letting us know.
And it was good sex.
Hey, according to Jessie, it was good sex.
According to Jessie, it was great sex. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? For the past, I think I would say 3 albums that Jessie Ware has done, it has been disco, it has been sexy, it has been strong but often subtle vocals, as a British woman is wont to do. I do think I Could Get Used to This is like the most emblematic of what this album does well. It's not my favorite Jessie Ware album, but it's really hard to be my favorite Jessie Ware album. Her most recent album was That Feels Good. Jesus Christ, you know? So I want to say that, like, I think it's her best produced of the 3, but I don't think that I quite like it as much. I could get used to this. Very sexy, very sensual. But I think a lot of the other times on this album where she tries to be sexy, it comes across like unsexy to me.
Yes, it
'Cause
does.
it's like, for me, it's like it's reaching for camp sexiness, which she often does and does well, but it's reaching too far while seemingly like trying to be genuine.
Yeah,
That could happen sometimes on That Feels Good, but not as bad, I feel like.
this album feels like it's, and I could be like completely off base with this. It feels like even when it's kind of weird and corny, it feels like it's supposed to be a very genuine, personal sort of look at sexuality and like sexuality as a woman in her 40s. Unfortunately, that does make it sound, like you said, just a little corny at times. This album, I think I like the most Jessie, where does a lot of, she does disco and she does different types of disco. Superbloom has that very sultry, sensual, The Wiz, Emerald City type disco. That is my personal favorite. So I love the sound of this.
Do you remember when we saw a trailer? I love that you already know what I'm going to say, because it really made me laugh. Hey, folks, this has nothing to do with music. This is just another Danny-ism that Azalea and I laughed at so hard we immediately wrote it down. But we saw a trailer or like some kind of TV spot, maybe just a thumbnail for Wicked, the new Wicked movies with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And Danny stopped, put her fist over her mouth, and she looked at me, looked at Azalea, and she said, I was about to say, is this like The Wiz? That's one of the funniest things you've ever
They
said.
had Jonathan Bailey strung up on that post. Like they had Michael Jackson before he sang You Can't Win. And I said, oh my God, is this like The Wiz? And then the second the song finished,
connections.
I said, oh, hold on. Hold on.
I'm glad you shared it with us, though.
Absolutely. It was foolish enough that I had to share. But yes, it reminds me of
Jessie
that.
Ware.
That's that like really smooth, sensual. We're just like kind of floating through in our silk chiffon. Oop. And it's just beautiful and sexy. Lyrically, I kind of get a little stuck from time to time.
Yeah, I think that's what, and especially because, again, she's been doing disco for a couple albums now, and so I wonder, like, how much juice do we have left to squeeze, especially lyrically? Because musically, you'll never run out.
You could do it forever.
Because you could do it forever. Because then you have this thing where there's some more sentimental songs on the album that I actually really like. Love You For, and then 16 Summers, which is like a ballad about being a mom. And I'm like, these songs are beautiful. They don't really fit on the album. Or maybe it would be more accurate to say that, like, there's a heartfelt storyline on the album that does feel like, you know, Eve in the Garden of Eden, beautiful, sensual sex, relationship, have kids, feel sentimental, etc. Where, like, that's a very clear storyline, and maybe there's just too many dancey tracks that kind of muck it up.
I think this album could be rearranged, and it would help a little bit, frankly. But, I don't know where I was going with that, so don't worry. I will say, Ride, hated it as a single, dislike it immensely on this album.
I hate it as a single. I like it more on the album, but I'm still like, cut it.
Yes, cut it. It should not have been here. I don't even think you need to make this kind of song, frankly.
It's so weird. When I first heard it, I was like, ooh, so I don't know what this Jessie Ware's album is going to be. Because it has like a very silly, it's called Ride. She has a cowboy hat on the cover. It has like a silly, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but synthified thing going on like constantly. And I was like, this song is weird as fuck. I don't think I like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it. I think we could have maybe not put it on the album and it would have been good. And like, I get it. It's another thing. Cowboys are sexy. Everybody knows that. It's a song about sex, obviously. So like, I understand its inclusion, but I think we could have maybe done a song about sex and riding a man a little bit differently if we had to.
If we had to.
If we had to, I think we could.
She has 2 other fucking songs to do that, so just cut it.
Just cut it. Overall,
Just cut it.
a very good sounding album that I think I may like better than That Feels Good. But really, it's just if I'm listening to a song as a song and not with lyrics on top, which isn't quite how music works.
Do you like it more than What's Your Pleasure?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I didn't like What's Your Pleasure very much.
I haven't listened to it all the way through in a while.
I think when it came out, I found it to be a little underwhelming. I haven't listened to it in perhaps years, but I think I remember finding it a little underwhelming.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think that would have to be at the bottom. But again, the songs that I like on this, I like so much.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit more than I like the good songs on That Feels Good. That it's kind of tricking my brain into thinking that this is her best album.
That's fair. I mean, maybe it is.
And maybe it is. I couldn't tell you. But let's go on to the Foo Fighters. This was your addition to the list, and I gotta say, Lotus, I was surprised.
They're doing Foo Fighters music again. They're just doing it again. Just making some 2000s butt rock.
They're doing
I mostly added this because I listened to the single called Caught in the Echo, and I think that song is great.
Okay. I agree. I don't think that was the first single to come out.
No, it was the second or third.
I think it may have been the second or third. They put out 1 or 2 before. I don't remember which ones they were. I'm sorry. I haven't listened to the album. I'm sorry. I found those singles underwhelming and maybe even bad. They felt like someone else doing the Foo Fighters. And if you recall back to what I said earlier, talking about the scratch and how a lot of older bands try to get that sound, but they can't. The singles and the few songs from the album that I've listened to or, started, sounds like an aging Foo Fighters. I haven't given the whole album a listen, so like this opinion could change. And maybe I'll come back next time and say, hey, no, I actually really like that album. It's a great Foo Fighters album, a great addition to their collection. But at the moment, I feel like, yeah, this feels like them aged. And maybe not the best way, except for Caught in the Echo, which I do think is good and still has a good energy.
Yeah, that's the moral of my story, is listen to Caught in the Echo by the Foo Fighters, and maybe the whole album.
Maybe the whole album. I don't think you could go wrong if you're a Foo Fighters fan, frankly.
That's true.
But it was curious. And then we come to our last song of the episode. Or excuse me, our last album of the episode.
Full album.
Jam 2 Go, who we have mentioned before, last episode in fact, released Crash Test. Lotus, this has been your album.
This has been my highly anticipated album since I heard the first single, Honeycrisp, which I talked about in the last episode. Mm-hmm. We skipped over talking about the thirds. I think we talked about Honeycrisp, The Sim, didn't talk about I Hope This Email, which is the third single.
Yeah, I believe that's how it went.
We're not doing monthly no more, so we don't have to. The whole fucking album's out. And baby,
you lied.
How anticipated, it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. I'm vindicated. I had such a good time listening to it. It's the kind of album that the more I listen to it, the more I like it. I was there day one, baby. Indie-tronica, electro pop. It's got some live bass, some live guitar. It gets kind of messy. Features as the vocal performer, the voice bank Kasane Teto. If you don't know what a voice bank is, Hatsune Miku is a voice bank. It is.
What?
So dumb. What do you mean? I also like how you say it as if voice bank's a word that people know. to know what a voice bank is enough to be shocked that an idol is one, but not to know that Hatsune Miku is a voice bank is very funny. Good bit.
Thank you.
Basically, somebody records into a microphone every individual sound that you could use while talking or singing, and like a keyboard kind of, and then you can take that into a fancy software and you can make it sing for you. Great. Kasane Teto is technically a joke voice bank that was made up by not 4chan. I think it's just called 2chan, the Japanese branch of 4chan. I think they're just called 2chan. They make up a joke April Fool's Day, Kasane Teto's birthday. Kasane Teto eventually becomes a real Vocaloid. Love the sound of Teto's voice. The thing is, also, because Teto is from a Chan website, there is like kind of a running gag or a running undercurrent that Teto's like a NEET, like NEET, not an employment, education, or training, just like a fucking loser online, like girl failure kind of chud asshole. And what I like is that those jokes never really land for me. I find them annoying. And so that like kind of part of her intrinsic character is taken by Jam to Go for this album, not for comedic effect, but is like genuinely relating as someone who's spent a lot of time online and can feel like a failure and kind of taking it as like a character study. Love that as a concept. I think Jam to Go is extremely talented. Also, have to mention, I think I mentioned this when we talked about Honeycrisp, but like Jam to Go made whole universes in Unreal Engine and a whole custom Teto model of her as like a crash test dummy, and has like a bunch of music videos out of various stylings, including the one for a song called Edutainment, which looks like it is is it called Witness? I think it's called like Witness Theater. Those videos they used to show you in school of like fish and T-Rexes and stuff. A little bit of that Bill Nye kind of DNA. Love everything about that. There's some songs that are maybe a little bit more generic or can come across that way. They include generic sounds or samples. The second song on the album, Same TBH, really could, but I do think that Jam to Go has a depth of production that kind of gives it its own sound. I love this album.
I'm happy for you. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't have any thoughts.
I know you don't. It's just funny.
I don't have any thoughts on this album. I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, you know? I'm genuinely happy for you. Sometimes I like the song, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I like Kasane Teto, sometimes I go, girl, shut up. So it's a mixed bag album.
Yeah, mostly because she's used as if she's a real vocal performer and not a gimmick. I really like she's used as if she's her own character, which I really like.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, we talked about when we talked about like The Sim. The lyrics are almost like cartoonishly blunt, like the metaphor is so obvious and so extreme. And I think at the time I said, I get where you're coming from, but I think in a full album I would really like it. Bitch, I barely noticed in the full album. I said, okay, no, like it's all working for me. Especially because it's like a transition point in the album where the center few songs are a lot more like melancholy. And The Sim is very melancholy, but it starts to kind of ramp up, and then it goes into the song I Hope This Email, which is about like, I guess you would broadly say being like the classic story of being disaffected by the rat race of college and then university and then getting a job and then just, you know, punching away in your cubicle until you die. And it has this really nice like wall of sound moment, which is such a classic kind of thing on this type of album. I think maybe it could have gone a little bit harder. Maybe the song could have been a little shorter, one of the two things, but I like it overall.
Hey.
You know.
It worked
so I'll say one thing that it reminded me of immediately. And I think anybody who would be listening to this album is probably going to say a similar thing, which is naturally parts of it really remind me of Porter Robinson. This album reminds me of Porter Robinson's album Nurture, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, maybe my favorite album of all time. And I feel like this can sit very comfortably next to it. I've been listening to it for days, so that could get stronger or weaker. Probably stronger though. It almost feels like an offshoot of like a different path from that album, because I really didn't like Smile, which was Porter Robinson's next album. So I'm
Yeah.
like so happy that I have this and that it has its own everything to it.
That's the thing, because I do feel like it could fit within that universe, but it is distinctly its own sort of thing in a nice way.
Yeah, like the little, because the thing is too, like with someone like Porter Robinson, is you'll talk about the anime influences and the game influences, and on the actual like Porter Robinson project, like Virtual Angel has a lot of like kind of, I guess you'd say cringy, but I mean it in a good way, like JRPG influences about like, hey, I'm seeing angels and I must become God kind of stuff. The main Porter Robinson stuff doesn't have so much of that. Like, I do think it's an influence in the sound of the music, but not necessarily like how, like the theming or the character or the lyrics. Whereas like there's a song on this album called Walk Cycle, and I actually think it's really good, and the lyrics tie into the, like it's thematically very, very cohesive. There's more straightforward ones like The Sim, and then there's little touches on pretty much every single song that like helps tie the theming together, all the way up to the crash test programming overarching ARG whatever thingy, but then all the way down to like the really down-to-earth lyrics of being a person and kind of hating life but wanting to continue anyways. It's just cohesive top to bottom. I will say, apparently there are 4 bonus tracks on this album if you buy it on Bandcamp.
Oh, I see.
However, we are recording this at the end of April. Bandcamp Friday is on May 1st, so I'll find out then, but I'm not going to know now. So hopefully they're good.
Yeah, we'll get an update.
I'm buying it. Buying it. So
yeah. Well,
hope to have some walking around money.
well, I'd say we had a successful 2 months of music.
Pretty successful overall.
Overall, pretty successful. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, musicians, for putting out the music that we can listen to. And, I mean, if you want to tell people things about you, Lotus, you can, but I feel like at this point, it's pretty known. But I'll give you
my website.
I'll give you
is dialedindie.net. There's a newsletter. There's an RSS. That's where I write stuff.
No Substack. RSS feeds.
No Substack. Yes, RSS. The newsletter is through Beehive, which is not Substack. So there's that.
Thank you, Lotus. And we'll come back maybe in May, maybe in June.
Probably June.
Probably June.
Or wait. Technically in July for May plus June. Don't think about it too hard. We'll come back.
We'll come back, though.